Newstalk said it's 28 to 6. Well, Auckland Council is waiting on a judge's decision it hopes will allow the eviction of protesters from Aotea Square. The Occupy movement has based itself in the centre of the city for at least 6 weeks. Auckland Councillor George Wood is with me. George, good evening to you.
Good evening, Larry.
Can you clarify? A trespass notice has been issued, has it? What was the court action about then?
Well, the court action is to enforce the trespass order so that they can got the backing of the court to move them off the land. So, it's mainly get rid of all the tents and all the other buildings and other things they've got there. So I don't know how long that'll take, but the first step, and it's a real good part of the process that's now occurred today, they'll go to the court and get some orders.
All right. So the court will decide the right to protest versus council bylaws. Is that about it?
Well, it's still that issue of the Bill of Rights and the council bylaws, but there's a number of council bylaws that we're looking at. So, it's not just one. There's, a number of taking over the space and denying it to other people and camping and just a raft of things they're up against.
Right. Nobody's arguing about the right to protest here. It's about the right to occupy, isn't it?
Yeah. And to cause such a mayhem to the grass in the area, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
What happens if the court rules in favour of the protesters here? Where would it leave the council?
Well, it leaves the council in a pretty difficult situation. I'd say that we'd have to regroup and start again, but, I'm pretty hopeful that the court will see reason and we'll be able to start some action to have these people either leave on their own volition or, and I hope they will do that. And I was talking to quite a few of them today at lunchtime, and they seem... I think their attitude has changed a bit in the last few days.
This is the protesters?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I've just, you get to know some of them and moving past down there. And, there's some people that are kind of, their motive for being there is, when you talk to them, is you've got to give it to them. They're standing, up for what they think is right, but they just can't do it in the way they're doing it.
How hard was it to get council to agree to go to the court to get the trespass notice confirmed?
Well, it's taken us over 6 weeks, as you just said. And there's been a few things like the election coming up last weekend. Council didn't want to get into a fury with them at that time. And I think it was pretty sensible. Quite frankly, I think the officers of the council have done their best. They're in a bit of a difficult situation. They've got councillors on one side saying these people have got a right to be there, and others like myself saying, we just can't tolerate it, get rid of them. So, I think the officers have done a reasonable job. Do
we know what the running total of the cost is yet?
No, Larry, I think we're just going to have to absorb that into the running of the council. But, I was talking to my colleagues today, it must be getting up around the 100,000, and this court action won't be cheap.
Well,
we've got a top barrister from from the Crown Prosecutor's Office handling it in the district court, and they won't come cheap in doing that job.
When we spoke a couple of weeks, though, the cost was about a couple of $100,000. Then it was $60,000
Look, I'm only just going on the papers that I've seen today. There's a whole raft of things. There's getting the grass back. They're going to have, if they check the membrane, I think that's 60,000. If there's anything that happens, if the membrane's been damaged, well, that'll be a lot more. There's a lot of work they'll have to do to get the area back to how it was. Yeah.
And the security. Anyway.
Oh yeah, there's all those issues as well.
Right, so it's a lot of money. Will the council try to recover the costs?
I don't think that it's throwing good money away after bad. I think, I think it's really a situation that it's been an unfortunate experience for the council. It's just one of those things that's happened. I think we'll have to, hopefully the CEO and his staff will have a look and see if it can be done better in the future.
Thank you for coming on the program, as always. That is George Wood, Auckland Councillor. Newstalk ZB, it is now 23 to